No, 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 not Mercury retrograde in Aries. Oh my gosh, I know everybody hates Mercury retrograde. Well, welcome everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Cindy. I am the modern day spiritual advisor. I use multiple modalities, including tarot, astrology, mediumship, all kinds of things to help you on your path. So today we're going to be talking about Mercury retrograde. What does that mean exactly? And we're going to be talking about what we should be doing during Mercury retrograde and which house which house it's going to affect each sign in. So that means which area of life. Okay, so I'm just going to read what I wrote. I wrote a little something on IG about Mercury retrograde, and then I'll expand upon that. So Mercury retrograde. So Mercury, the first planet from the sun, its energy is about learning and thinking, communicating, technology, and science. And it orbits the sun at a faster rate than the Earth, which is the third planet from the sun, right? So when they pass one another, it gives the illusion that Mercury is slowed down, almost coming to a standstill and then moving backwards. It's almost like when you see two people running and one is faster, and as the other begins to catch up, from your point of view, it almost looks like the leader is slowing down, then moving backwards. That's putting it simply. When we speak of it as energy and in astrology, going retrograde indicates that we will be slowed down, contemplating, redoing, adapting, adjusting, and changing in areas of your life, right? The area of life will depend on the house it sits in your astrological chart. The way in which you express it will be the astrological sign that it's in. So it's going to be in Aries. Again, I'm making this as simple as possible. So Mercury, let's talk a little bit about what Mercury is. Mercury is the messenger, the processor, the communicator, right? Mercury is the part of your conscious mind. In astrology, it's called the lower mind. It's the thinking. It's process the information that comes in. See, to me, the conscious mind has several parts to it. So for me, like the sun would be the part of the conscious mind where you retrieve information, take information in, the way that you bring information in. And then Mercury is the process about thinking and learning, right? So in astrology, again, it's called the lower mind. This is because it's where we take information in, we learn, we think, and then we relay what we've learned. I like to think of Mercury as that tissue in our brain that connects the left hemisphere to the right hemisphere, connecting and passing messages, neurons, right, from one side to the other. So when it goes retrograde, it slows down. So all the qualities of Mercury slow down, right? So what does it have to do with you? For you, this is a time to process. And each retrograde, what you haven't processed in the last one will show up again and again and again. And we have retrogrades 4 times a year. So you get the message, right? Until you have processed, let go, or keep and move forward, those things and projects and situations will be brought forth so you can make decisions and move on to your next phase in life, right? And they'll continue to keep coming up in each retrograde until you've processed them. So now is not the time to begin new projects, right? Let me be really clear about this, because people often get confused when they're beginning new projects or having to begin a new project, and they're like, I don't want to begin a new project because it's Mercury retrograde. So let me be clear. You can begin projects, just not brand new projects. And you can always begin any project, but you're going to have delays and things are going to go wrong. So this is a time to continue creating those things and situations you once envisioned, or those things and situations that you have already started the process of, right? So those dreams and those phases in life, you saw yourself in the future. Now is the time to organize and plan, make a plan of action for those brand new projects and dreams. Just how are you going to, so the questions you should be asking is just how are you going to make that a reality? Do you even want to make that a reality? And if so, what are the first few steps to make that a reality? These are the things You should be contemplating, organizing, changing, adjusting, adapting. It's a time for endings also. So this is so that when Mercury goes direct, what we call goes direct, you'll be ready to take those steps to a new way of life, a new phase in your life, a new you. So you should be excited about all the possibilities that could happen with that, or that should be coming up with that. So if you look, this is Mercury right here. So this is Mercury, this little yellow planet, this yellow dot right here. This is Mercury. So Mercury is going to be in Aries. It's going retrograde in Aries. It's already in Aries. That's why. So it's in Aries, and this is why you guys, Aries has that energy. Aries is a cardinal sign, and I'll be doing a video about all of that too. So Aries is about new beginnings. Aries is that burst of energy. Aries is the leader. Aries wants to start new stuff, and so with Mercury being in there and processing stuff for you guys, you've probably over the last few days have become very anxious and very clear about things, and started to get more energy about projects and things and people and situations and all of that. That's because Mercury's been in there. Well, now it's going to go retrograde, so it's going to stay in Aries, right? So let's talk about each house or each sign and how that's going to affect you. So again, once again, before I start this, Mercury retrograde is about endings, changes, amending, adapting. There can be lots of communication and lots of miscommunication, right? So the technology and science and all of that technology can go haywire during retrograde, and that's because as Mercury slows down, or we see it slowing down, you know, it's like miscommunicating, right? So also, if you have a car that's like you need to get a checkup with it, or something's going wrong with it in retrograde, it could be a big thing for you that comes up. Again, because these are things that you need to pay attention to, and with Mercury being in retrograde, it's going to bring those things forth so that you can work through them and either let them go, fix them, keep them, move into a new phase with them, right? So Aries, this is going to be in your first house, and we have a lot going on around here, right? So this is going to be in your first house. I don't want to talk about all the other stuff that's going on, because this is about Mercury. So in your first house, this is about you. This is your identity. So with Mercury in there, you could be, with it retrograding as well, you could be thinking a lot. You could be making plans. There could be a lot of communication for you. This is a time, but this is a time for you to take some solitude and really think about what you want to do, and really think about changing stuff about you, about where your position is in life, about what you're doing in life, about what's going on. This is the time of adapting and amending, right? Changing these things. There could be some endings in relationships. There could be, because it's in your first house. So because it's endings, this isn't something that's new though. This is something that's been going on, and this will happen if it's in your first house. Okay? So, Taurus, this is going to be happening. This is Taurus, so this is going to be happening in your. Sorry, this is Taurus, so this is going to be happening in your 12th house. So your 12th house, you could be having lots of dreams, maybe of your childhood. Maybe some childhood stuff comes up. Maybe some past lives stuff comes up. This is the time for you to be alone and want to isolate yourself, because this is all bringing these things forth in that 12th house for you, so that you can make the changes, so that you can end things and let go of things, so that you can amend and adapt and move into the next phase. And this is all subtle for you. This is all like subconscious kind of stuff for you, or it's going to come through your subconscious. So again, you could be having a lot of dreams with that. Like you could be asking questions, or things could be going on in life, and then when you sleep, you're getting the answers, or things are becoming very clear for you, right? So you're gonna find that you might want to isolate yourself a little more because you're really wanting to think about this stuff and trying to change things. Okay, so Gemini, my beautiful Gemmies, that's going to be happening in your 11th house. So your 11th house, so because Gemini, and I'm a Gemini sun, so because Gemini, Mercury is the ruler of Gemini, right? So with Geminis, it's going to be really prominent for you. And depending on the degrees that you have, I only have 7 degrees, but depending on the degrees that you have in your chart for you, like your natal chart, that's the big changes that are coming. So these could be life-changing things because Mercury is your ruler. So we could be talking about in the 11th house, either changing, ending, amending, adapting, all these things, miscommunication, in regards to family, old friends. You could be having disputes, or you could be having arguments with some people. So be very careful with that. You can have arguments in social groups because this is the 11th house. With property, you could be changing, amending, endings of properties. Maybe you're moving. There's going to be lots of communication going on for you. So just remember to take a breath and really listen, because you're not the only one going through retrograde. So are other people. And so sometimes what they want to say, they can't say, or maybe they said it, but you heard it wrong. That could be happening a lot for you, and that could get you into disagreements, misunderstandings, miscommunication. So just be aware of that, Gemini. But the 11th house is the house of gains. Remember that. So if you're ending something, you're going to be gaining something new, something good, something that's been needing to come forth, okay, in your life. So next is my beautiful Cancers. So Cancers, this is going to be happening in your 10th house. So in your 10th house, there could be some endings and changes and amending and adapting and communication. So because this is your work or your life purpose, I can see you like changing positions or ending jobs or ending careers or changing careers or changing jobs. Or maybe you're at a company or a big organization, and you've put in your application for a new position, a better position. I can see where you're ending this job and beginning a new one. I can see where maybe you're changing not your position, but you're changing, like maybe you're changing projects, maybe you're amending projects, whatever work that you're doing, maybe in your life purpose, maybe depending on what you do for work. Maybe if your work is in your life purpose, maybe you're not changing the whole career or the whole job, but maybe you're making it better. Maybe you're expanding it. Maybe you're those things that had come up before that you didn't get a chance to do. Maybe you're making it bigger. Maybe you're doing it a different way. Like all of that could be going on in that house. So next is Leo, my lovely luscious lions. So Leo is here. So Aries is here, and that'll be in your 9th house. And your 9th house is about your beliefs. So there's going to be endings and changes and amending and adapting it could be in your belief system. It could be the way that but this has to do with like the way that you believe, or maybe a new understanding of the way other people believe as it relates to how you believe, right? And so you change your perspective, or you amend, or you adapt, right? So it also has to do with foreign travel. So if foreign travel is coming up for you, there could be delays. There could be delays. It just kind of depends. There could be delays, there could be changes, maybe adapting, could be the delay. Like maybe you're going a day later, or maybe you're going you're having to change the time that you're leaving on a flight, or maybe you're staying longer than you thought, if you have foreign travel going on. This also has to do with the law. So if you're having any if you're dealing with the court system in any way, there could be some adaptations, there could be some amending, there could be some, if something has been going on for a long time and you've been really working on it, in retrograde it could end. There could be some changes, some endings, right? So this also has to do with if you've started a new, so this is higher learning. So if you've started like a new course, you could be ending the course, you could be changing the course, you could be amending it. Like maybe you're getting more time to do it. That could be going on, and that's for Leo. Now Virgo, this is going to be going on in your 8th house. So the 8th house has to do with other people's money. So we could be talking about loans. There could be delays in loans. There could be a change in the amount of loan. There could be an amending of the loan, and also changing understanding other people, other people's beliefs. So there could be changes in that, a new perception, a new way, a new understanding. But the 8th house is about transformation too. So whatever this is, it could be life-changing for you. It could be this thing that you've had been working on, and it's coming up, especially in Aries, who wants to start new things, and Mercury is there to help out. Mercury is slowed down, but it's slowed down meaning it's going to be helping out in this sign, right? So it's going to be helping Aries out. That's why you're getting, all of you are getting very clear visions. You're getting like the energy to do things. It's because it's Aries. It wants to move. It wants to go. It wants to start new things, right? And so these are, Aries will bring up those new things that like maybe you started a long time ago and maybe you put away, and now maybe you're thinking clearly about how to do it. So that could be happening for you. So Libra, my beautiful balancing Libras. So this is going to be in your 7th house. Now, you know about the 7th house. The 7th house is, there could be some endings in relationships. There could be some changes in relationships. It could be changes to the next phase. There could be some amending, adapting. There could be miscommunication in relationships. And I'm not just talking about romantic or love relationships. I'm talking about all relationships. So also you could be revisiting old relationships. Old relationships could come back up, so that you can either end them or change them, amend them. But be careful, because there is going to be miscommunication. But this is the time for you to either decide to keep these people in your life, or decide to let them don't cut them off, but kind of just let them be. Maybe an old lover comes back. Maybe an old friend that you haven't seen in forever comes back. And then you kind of get to decide, what do I want to do with this, right? So that could be going on. So Mercury retrograde is going to be, before I go to the next one, it's going to be March 22nd through April 15th. It'll be starting at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. Mountain, 7 p.m. Central, and 8 p.m. Eastern, right? And that's not the exact time, but that's around about the time. So we're already in the shadow of it, so you guys could be feeling that stuff going on now. But just remember, Libra, when people come back into your life, and this is for everybody, when people come back into your life in retrograde, they're not necessarily here to stay. That doesn't mean that they're here to stay, especially in a retrograde. They're here so that you can change, so that you can have endings, so that you can amend, so that you can either decide to move them with you into the next phase, or let that go and move forward yourself. Okay? So, Scorpio. My beautiful Scorpios, you guys have been really working hard with that Jupiter. And we have Jupiter retrograde, which I'm going to have a video about that. So, a Scorpio, this is going to be in your 6th house, which is the house of daily routine and health. So, there could be some endings, there could be some amending, some changes, some adapting, some endings in, like, your daily routine. Maybe. And also, like, if it's in your daily routine, if you're doing shift work and maybe you were on the night shift, it could be ending and you could be going to the day shift. If you were picking somebody up for a while, that could be ending, and you're now you're now going to work on your own or by yourself. maybe if you've been working out, or maybe if you hadn't been working out and you've been wanting to work out, so that ending of not working out, that could be included in working out. That has to do with your health. Anything that has to do with your day-to-day life and your daily routine, there's going to be some changes. There's going to be some adapting. Maybe if you haven't been doing very much in your daily routine, the changes could be that you're going to be doing a lot in your daily routine. So just be aware of that, Scorpios. So, Saggies, my Saggies, this is going to be in your 5th house. So your 5th house is the house of creativity, the house of love affairs, projects, something coming from your heart. So we could have endings and amending and adapting and changing in your projects, in maybe old lovers come back, because this is love affair. So your love affairs house. So creative projects that maybe you started in the past and you really aren't ready to let that go, but you hadn't had time. There could be some changes of that going on, either to decide to end it and let it go, or decide to pick it up and start doing it. With this Aries energy, you're probably going to want to pick it up and start doing it, and you're going to be very clear about it. So again, this has to do with old lovers coming back in. And when I say love affairs too, when you meet somebody in retrograde, because you could be meeting somebody in retrograde, they're not necessarily here to stay. It's a love affair. So just understand that there could be, the adapting about how to date and how to have a love affair, and maybe you're wanting to experience that. It kind of depends on your house, your natal chart, and what's going on. But just be aware of that, Saggies, in your 5th house. So that's going to be all lit up for you. But things are going to get very clear for everyone because the sun's coming too. So the sun's already in Aries. That's why you're getting very clear about everything. And we have that Aries, like, gusto energy, right? So that spark. All right, so my beautiful Cappies, this is going to be in your 4th house. So there could be endings, some changes, some amending, some adapting, some miscommunication with family, with siblings, with old friends. This is your 4th house. This is the house of you and your home, right? So the home in this 4th house is, when you're growing in this house, or this house is lit up, you're understanding that your home is where your heart is, right? So there could be some endings of old friends. Maybe they've just taken too much from you, and you've decided you'll see it very clearly in retrograde where it's time to let that go. There could be some, or maybe you have an old friend that returns, but maybe they've come at it like they're a whole different person, and they're giving, and they're they're really wanting to stay, and they're really gonna try everything. And so maybe it's a new phase that you're moving into. Maybe you're changing that. So with family members as well, relationships with family members, they could be a changing and adapting. Just be aware that there could be some miscommunication. Also with your siblings. Okay, so Aquarius, my beautiful Aquas, I love you. You have a special place in my heart. So Aquas, this is going to be in your 3rd house. So the 3rd house is the house of communication. It's ruled by Mercury, and it's got Gemini. So there could be some endings, some changes, some editing, some amending, some adapting, having to do with if you work in the media, maybe social media, your writing, communication, processing old stuff. So old stuff could be coming up in this house. Old stuff that maybe you hadn't thought about, or maybe you just put aside for a little bit and then forgot about it. Old stuff could be coming up, having to do with maybe the way you communicated in the past with someone. So there could be some communication going on. Maybe somebody comes in that you really, and I'm talking old stuff, like this is stuff you forgot about, or this is stuff that's been so long that you didn't even think about. So that could be prominent for you. But remember, processing this old stuff, or old situations, or old friends, or old lovers, anything that comes up in this house, this has to do with you actually processing that and getting ready. And they may not come to you physically, like they may just come to your mind, and then you have to, like, maybe you're feeling guilty about something, maybe you did something, or maybe they did something and you're still hurt about it. Like, this is the time to really process that, understand it, and then release it. And again, each retrograde, these things will come up until you've processed them. So right now you're in prime placement to process these things, so that you can let them go or bring them with you. Decide which one to do, instead of that middle thing that you like to do, that middle ground. All right, so Pisces, my beautiful Pisces. This is going to be in your second house. So in your second house, this is about the value you put to your identity. So this has to do with your finances, your money, house, cars, things that make you valuable, things that you think make you valuable, right? So your car, your house, your business, your company, it's like your stuff that you worked really hard for. So with these things in this house being lit up for you, we could be talking about endings of things. So maybe, it's time to let that car go. Maybe it is time to move into the new house. We could be talking about changes. So changes to your finance. So if you've been working really hard and you've been putting in the work and things hadn't come through right now, while Mercury retrograde goes on, this could be coming through for you. We're going to be talking about amending and adapting. So you could be adapting to your finances in some way, to the valuable things of yourself, and some valuable things that you have that you've worked so hard for in some way. These could be changing, these could be adapting, these could be amending. Okay, so I hope that was clear. I don't want to make this video too long. I am going to begin to make the videos about the signs and the planets and the houses. They're going to be on my website. I'm going to be doing the transits and the progress transit on my YouTube channel along with the tarot, but I'm going to actually be doing the basic astrology, where I teach about each sign, each planet, and asteroids and stars, and each house, then aspecting, the basic astrology stuff. That's going to be on my website for download. I don't know what the price is going to be yet, but it's going to be fairly inexpensive. So I'll let you guys know as that comes up and as I finish those things. So if you like what you see, please be sure to subscribe, like, and share this out so that other people can get this message. I will talk to you guys soon. I will be making another video shortly where I explain, I think, where I'm going to do Jupiter next. Okay? Love you, love you, love you. Bye.